This video is brought to you by eToro. Now, you may have seen that eToro sponsor a number of Premier League clubs, and you might be wondering, who are they? Well, eToro is a global investment platform with over 16 million registered users, which offers everything from stocks, currencies and commodities to cryptos like Bitcoin. Now, if you don't have time to invest, eToro is perfect. You can use eToro's CopyTrader feature, copy top performing investors, so when they make a trade, you make the same trade automatically at no additional cost. So if you're looking to start investing and you want to find out more about eToro, then click the link in the description and get on it right now.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to AFTV and welcome back to Supporters Club. It's been a little while, it's the same show, new settings, but we are back to discuss the main talking points around Arsenal Football Club. We currently lie in 15th, Arteta's under a lot of pressure, so here we go, let's get into it. I've got some guests with me today. We've got Curtis back, Laurie back, Robbie back, and a debut for Mr. DT. You already know who he is.
Yeah, debut on this.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, first time. Nah, you've been on it before. You've been on it before. You've been on it before. But we are here to discuss Arteta, the pressure surrounding his role. He's coming up to a year as Arsenal manager now. So let's start with Curtis. Curtis, Mikel Arteta, give me your opinion on his tenure so far.
I think he started off well. First of all, he wasn't the manager I would have gone for. I think he was very lucky to get the job in the first place. When you consider he'd never managed, the reality is, if he was assistant manager of Everton, Southampton, Newcastle, West Ham, he doesn't get the job. He got the job because he's Pep's number 2 and Pep bigged him up. And, you know, Pep's revered in football. So he's lucky to get the job. Having said that, he did very well last season. He had, you know, he turned our fortunes around. He won the FA Cup. He deserved the credit that he got. But, you know, sometimes you get a new manager bounce that people talk about. And when that fades away, you then see how good a manager really is. And to me also, winning the FA Cup is not the benchmark of how I judge a manager, because a 38-game league season, that's where you see how good a manager is. Can you turn out them results week after week? Having started this season, 11 games in, apart from the Fulham game and probably the Man United game, this is probably, for me as a fan, the worst Arsenal I've ever seen as a fan. Football's been diabolical. I think the man management has been, you know, I think he's rubbing up a lot of players the wrong way. He talks about non-negotiables, which I'm fine with that if you're going to be, you know, disciplined. He only seems to have them rules for certain players. That's my problem. You can't, you know, let Willian off with going to Dubai, and Bellerin can't even throw a ball. But then you're feeding Pepe to the Lions. You're talking about Thomas Partey, even though he played on an injury. So keep them same standards for everyone. And I think the longer he's in charge of this club, I think the more damage he can end up doing. So I think saying give him time, you know, we're coming up to a transfer window as well in January. Do you want to allow a manager who you're not sure about to go and spend money again? And then if you do have to make a change further down the line, again, you've got another manager with more players that he has to move. So for me at the moment, I can't see anything that he's doing well at the moment.
Yeah, you mentioned the new manager bounce and whatnot, and something I think you're being a bit harsh, because post-lockdown we had 2 big losses, Man City and the Brighton one. And I think that new manager bounce was over by then. But he managed to, you know, pull something out of the bag with a formation change, and I give him credit for that. Yeah. He needs to do something now, but I feel like he does deserve credit for little things he's done over the year. I'll move over to this side, and Robbie, obviously, you're not as critical of Arteta as some are, but it is unprecedented times as an Arsenal fan right now. 15th in the league, you know, we're coming up to the crucial Christmas period. What's your thoughts on Mikel Arteta?
Yeah, listen, I'm not at the stage where I'm saying Arteta should go. No, I'm not at that stage, right? But I do understand the criticism that he's getting, because this is Arsenal Football Club. You can't be sitting in 15th. And a big club, any club of this size, when you're continually losing games, you're under pressure. Yeah. That's the reality of it. But I would like to see him given a bit of time. He hasn't, you know, the way Curtis was talking, like he had a full season last year. He didn't have a full season. Remember, he came in Round about this time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
round about this time.
20th of December,
yeah. And then, you know, we had the old break with COVID and stuff like that, and then he came back and, you know, won the FA Cup. I thought that was a great achievement to win the FA Cup, right? You know, Man United fans were getting at me and saying, well, no, top 4 is better than winning the FA Cup. They're now out of the Champions League and are still in the same Europa League we are in without a trophy. So winning a trophy is a good achievement, right? However, the form this season has not been great. It can't continue. You know, whilst I'm backing him now, I'm a realist. If he loses to Burnley, if he loses a few more games like that, you know, his job's on the line. There's other managers out there. This is a huge club. It can't keep going in that direction. But I would like to see him make it to January. I think he needs to win, I'd say, 3 out of the next 5 games to turn things around. And then be given a bit of money to try and improve the team. Because when I look at Arsenal's team, the reality of it was, when we played Tottenham the other day, when I looked at Tottenham's bench, they could bring on Bale, they could bring on Lucas Moura. I looked on our bench, it's Eddie Nketiah, right? When I look at, when I was with my brother the other day, we were looking at the top, say 8 of the top clubs in the Premier League. Yeah. And I said to him, I said, you look at him, I don't think we've got a better team than Leicester, player for player.
No.
Or Everton.
No.
Wolves is probably on par, possibly, but maybe not, right? And then, you know, you've got Liverpool, you've got Chelsea, you've got Man United, you've got Man City. That's 7 clubs there. And what's the other club? And then Tottenham. That's 8 clubs. So really and truly, if finishing 8th was about...
Right.
The sad thing to say, and I know you've gone on about it a lot of times about the players we've got and stuff like that, finishing 8th is about where we are at the moment. If he did get top 4, which I thought at the start of the season, I really truly believe that he could get that. If we get top 4, I think we've overachieved with the squad that we've got. So I think it's really hard to judge him until he gets the players in that he wants. But I do recognise what Curtis is saying. There are things, you know what I mean? Some players that he continually plays, like Bellerin, has been having a tough time the past few weeks. He's still playing. Willian, tough time, still playing, still persisting with him. You know, I couldn't understand the other day against Tottenham. You know, the 3 at the back formation, solid, has been working well away from home. He changed it up against Mourinho when you know he's going to counter. So he has made some wrong decisions. And then this Ozil thing, still for me, I know Ozil's not the answer to all our problems, right? And I know it probably weren't his decision, and I think that decision's above his head, but he owned the decision. He said, it's me, it's my decision, it's football reasons. And you know, as I said, when I look at the bench and I look at what we've got, there is no way that can be a footballing decision. That's a decision made because of something else. No way it can be. Yeah. Because he should be at least in the squad. That if things ain't working, you can at least, you know, I know Ozil the other day, if he was playing in that game against Tottenham, he wouldn't have been whipping in balls for, you know, Aubameyang to header, because he knows the guy's not good at headering. He'd be trying to play it into feet or on, you know, so that again's another baffling one. I mean, the club's in, the reality of it is, right, the club's in a mess.
Yep.
The mess at the moment. I've never seen Arsenal like this. All these little, every minute there's all these little things coming out. Never used to hear nothing come out at Arsenal. Now all of a sudden, bust up on training ground, this man get kicked down on the training ground, redundancies made, Gunnosaurus sacked. Every week, we never used to hear these things coming out. Even that shows you that something ain't right beyond Arteta. So that's why I'd like to see him get a bit more time. And, you know, I don't know, I like him, and I think, I do think he's a guy that could get things back on track, given time and given the players,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with the majority of what you say, aside from the Ozil stuff, but we can get into that later. And Curtis mentioned that, you know, the longer you leave a manager in charge, the more damage you can cause. And that resonates with me because of Arsene Wenger and how I felt about him towards the end. And I believe a lot of this damage we're seeing now is still off the back of that decision to keep him and Gazidis on for a bit too long. But on the flip side of it, is chopping and changing managers more damage to the side, to the club? DT, I want to touch on you now and your opinions on that.
I think it is, because what you were saying there about all the difference of what's happened since he came in. We've had, since Arsene Wenger's left, 4 managers, including him, 4 CEOs, or technical directors, whatever you want to call them. There's so much that's changed, but the one thing that's not changed dramatically is the players on the pitch. Yeah. The most key component. Now, I understand that the club want to try and rip up a lot that has been done wrong, and they're doing it at boardroom level or wherever it might be. But as fans, we've got to see the product on the pitch, because that's what we care about. We don't care about what goes on behind the scenes as such. Our main priority is, yes, we want the club run properly, but we want to see, everything we were promised when we moved to the Emirates.
Exactly.
That we're going to compete with Bayern Munich. We're going to be this big super club and everything else.
Bayern Munich?
No, but that's what we were told.
I know, but
you know what I mean?
Like
but this is the thing. So the biggest issue for me is that you go by our last game, Tottenham. 5 of the starting 11 players were signed by Arsene Wenger. The only one of those 5 that you could say wasn't part of his reign that failed him was Aubameyang, because he came in that final period as he was about to go. So you're relying on players that failed Arsene Wenger, failed Unai Emery, and are at the moment failing Mikel Arteta. So do you look at one person as an individual, or do you look at these same players and go, 1, 2, there's a pattern? And Freddie Ljungberg.
Yeah.
We talk about bounce and everything. Remember when Freddie come in? Invincible, legend. How many of us went round with red hair? Maybe not you.
Not me.
But, do you know what I mean? Even
that's true, there was no bounce.
There was no bounce. No. He couldn't get anything. It was flat.
Yeah.
So it was. So I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking to myself that you change it now, and the personnel's still going to be there. It's no secret that Mikel Arteta wanted to get rid of at least 6 or 7 of these players during the previous window. Yeah. But the reason why he couldn't get rid of them is because of the past regime, put them on stupid wages. Like, you've got Socrates about to leave, over 100 grand.
Yep.
Mustafi, who's openly saying, I'm not signing a new contract, I'm out the door. Like, who the hell is this guy? Like, how have we allowed somebody like Mustafi to dictate to us over 100 grand a week? Mkhitaryan was on nearly 200 grand a week, and he's one where we had to literally cut our ties and go, that's it, bye-bye, just get him off the wage bill. Mesut Ozil, I backed him more than anybody. Everyone knows that, and we know your thoughts or anything. But even I'm now where I'm going, right, Unai Emery's openly come out and said that he didn't do X, Y, and Z in training. Freddie Ljungberg has said there was something not there. Now Mikel Arteta is saying there's something not there. So again, what do you look at?
Yeah.
What's the pattern? All these different managers are saying one thing. So what do you believe? The individual or the collective? So that's the issue. And I'm saying with Mikel, let him get these players out, because one thing that we do know is that the majority of these players who we've just mentioned are going to be gone. January, end of the season at a minimum. From January, they can negotiate contracts with someone else. At the end of this season, their contracts are done. There's no negotiating, there's no nothing, cut ties, whatever it might be. They're out the door. Those players we're talking about free up over £750,000 a week in wages. Do you know how much that can go to improving this squad? Because a lot of people see a price tag. He's for sale, he's £22 million, go get him. You don't realise about add-ons, what the contracts might be, and all the little bits and pieces that they have in agent fees and all this kind of stuff. So freeing up that kind of wage for players that can actually contribute to this team, get massive. That, you know what I mean? And it's massive. You know, I see people sit there and say about, oh, well, Mikel's brought a player in that hasn't worked, like Willian, for example, or maybe Cedric, for example. But then,
you're right.
But you can say that, but you can flip it around. Who's been our player of the season? Gabriel. Mikel signed him. We've just brought in Thomas Partey. He was 70% fit against Tottenham, yet he was still our best player in the midfield. Half, and he was still bursting past Højbjerg and whatever in that first half. He's a Mikel Arteta signing. Every manager in world football has made a great signing, a dud signing. So it's part and parcel. Remember when Pep Guardiola first season at Manchester City, what was the goalkeeper that he brought in?
Bravo.
Bravo. Everyone was like, brilliant signing, it's going to be great.
Played him that first season. Pep went, bloody hell, it ain't worked out how I thought it would. Out the door, bye-bye.
And that's the difference.
Yeah, he
1
can.
year, out the door.
Out the door. And
Yeah,
this
we
is
can't
the thing.
afford to do that, though, can we?
But this is the thing. Because of what we've got going out of the door now,
We're in that position.
I feel in that position now with the wages, because I think wages is more important than the actual price tag. Because it's, you know what I mean? You've got to pay them on their weekly basis, whatever the clauses might be or anything else. It's going to free up so much. We're not talking a couple of 100,000. We're talking nearly £1 million a week. £1 million. Yeah, and he's tied down Saka to a new contract. We all wanted Saka to sign a new deal.
Yeah.
Martinelli signed a new deal.
Yeah.
We all wanted that to happen. Aubameyang signed a new deal. We all wanted that to happen. Mikel Arteta did all of that. So for every Cedric or a Willian, there's a new signing, 3 I've just listed. There's a Gabriel. There's a Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, the good outweigh the bad. The performances, don't get me wrong, they're not right at the moment. But Manchester United were in the exact same position we are at this exact same time last season. Same position, same amount of points. Where did they finish? In the top 4. What was the one thing that they did to turn their season around?
January.
Bruno Fernandes. So if we can go and get our Bruno Fernandes, no, but you laugh. Let's say we go and get a Hosemawa or a Szoboszlai. Yeah, let's say that could be what.
Good.
Yeah, good. Listen, nobody knows the future. Nobody knows, Robbie. But what you didn't know, Manchester United never knew that Bruno was going to dramatically turn their season round.
I mean, you knew he was a top
you
player.
did, but you knew that.
He was top notch.
We knew
so
that.
Gloucester, that would be like
It's a risk.
an up and coming
Yeah.
guy. That's not the guy that's going to come into the Premier League. You've got to get used to it and that will turn it around.
But some players do. Aubameyang did.
Yeah, but you're buying a ready-made top player, though, isn't it?
But you still got to go and perform. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that all that turned Manchester United's fortunes last year was one signing. Now we need more than one. But all it might take in January is a couple of signings to kickstart the rest of the season, to propel us to further, where we want to be. And then we can rebuild.
Yeah.
And especially at the end of this season, man, when all these players are finally out of the door, man.
Listen, I'm one, you lot know me. I bang on about the board every game, every season. And DT's right, this summer coming up, I always say this summer's a big one. And every summer for Arsenal is a big one because we're on the verge always of fixing problems, but we never do it. This summer, like DT said, 750k a week is coming off the wage bill. We've got a manager that they've changed from head coach to manager. So not only did we see the trust put in Arteta in December last year, we've saw more trust put in him midway through this year, post-lockdown. Performances are not acceptable, but at least we can potentially see an avenue for not only Arteta to fix the problem, but for Kroenke to really show himself as an owner and show some ambition at this football club. You touched on the players, and I want to move over to Laurie too. The players have to hold responsibility, There's so many passengers in this side, many years now. Like DT said again, 5 of the 11 that started against Tottenham were Wenger signings. And not only the quality of player that Wenger brought in, but the culture, the mentality, the character, all up for question. Bellerin, Mustafi, Xhaka, their characters are not good enough, let alone their quality on the pitch. Laurie, do you put it more down to Arteta, this form at present, or do you look more on the players?
I think that both the players and the manager have to take responsibility for the team's performances at the moment. And I would disagree with my brother, as we tend to do from time to time. I think that we've got some very good players at the club. Okay, at the moment, the confidence is low, obviously. And when confidence is low, you will never get the best out of players. We've seen that with Aubameyang. I mean, last year, Aubameyang was the star player. He was scoring every week. I mean, myself and Curtis, we do a show. And we were talking about the fact that Aubameyang was scoring so many goals last season. He was masking a lot of the team's deficiencies. And I think now that's being borne out. We're seeing that. That being said, I think we do have good players at the club. I do. And I think that our squad is on a par, if not further than the likes of Leicester, Everton, Wolves. And I think we should be doing a lot better.
I disagree.
Sorry?
I disagree.
Okay.
Because even I look at Southampton and I think 3-4 of their players get in our first 11. And that's Southampton. I think Ings.
Yeah, you could make that.
11.
I mean, listen, this is subjective. Yeah.
Højbjerg, who just left them,
Højbjerg
came
was
into
good,
our 11. Maybe even Vestergaard starts next to Gabriel in our 11.
But look at when we got Pepe then.
Yeah.
That was seen as a major coup, us getting Pepe. Remember, everyone was getting excited. As Arsenal fans, we were cock-a-hoop at the fact that we'd signed him, and the likes of Man United, one or two others, even Tottenham, I believe, were looking at him, and we pulled it off, and we was, yeah, man, you know, I mean, we got Pepe. And Pepe is a good player. I happen to think, and Curtis alluded to it earlier, that he's one of a number of the players that have been mismanaged in the team. Because I must admit, with Arteta, he wouldn't have been my original choice. But, you know, he got the job and we wished him well. But I have to say, man, that when we, Curtis will tell you this, when we did our show some months ago now, and the manager's job was being debated, we ran a little poll. And I think there was about 5 managers that were being talked about at that time as possibles for the Arsenal job. It was Jose Mourinho, Allegri, Brendan Rodgers, I think it was Nuno, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Poch.
oh, no, not Poch, it was Arteta.
Oh, okay.
That's 5. Do you know who came bottom of that poll? And that wasn't me and Curtis. We put the poll out there. Do you know who came bottom? Arteta. So I think a lot of people had reservations about him because obviously it would have been his first job, and it's a big job for your first job. And listen, I'll give him credit for the cup win and the Charity Shield, because obviously you've got to win a cup to get in the Charity Shield. So he's won the 2 trophies, and I'll give him credit for that. But by the same token, you also have to take the criticism when things are not going well. And the thing that concerns me at the moment is that the trajectory of the club is actually going down. We're on a downward slope. And I'm saying to myself, looking at Arteta and looking at some of the problems I see within the team, is this man going to turn it around, not in the short term, but in the long term? Do you trust in this man to turn things around?
Trust the process.
And yeah. And I'm having to say at the moment, I've got some real reservations.
And the process that Robbie mentions, to me, that process started when Kroenke became majority owner of this club. How can a process start over and over again with managers when the process of a chairman, the owner, you know, hasn't really kicked off? And you talk about the downhill slope. I believe with Wenger, that downhill slope was maintained a little bit. But Wenger had to go to open up these cracks. And when Wenger left, that downhill slope, it became steeper, and we are going downhill fast. You know, 15th in the league. But I do
so
believe,
ask yourself, looking at Arteta, given what he's done so far, given some of the problems that exist at the club now, the man management, the handling of situations like what Robbie spoke about, the Ozil thing, things like that, some of the treatment of some of the players, Pepe, Partey, I could go on and on. Do you think that Arteta is the man to turn things around? And I must say, I've got my reservations. I wouldn't write him off totally, because as DT said, things could change with a good transfer window.
Yeah.
But are they going to back him? That's the other thing.
that's the main thing. You know,
Would you give him the window? Would you give him the window?
That's what I said.
Well, you have to be seen to give him a chance. So I think they should back him as far as they can go. But
No, I'm saying you. Would you give him the window? Because you sound like you wouldn't. I know you
might. You know what? That's a very good question. And we've got 5 or 6 games coming up before that window opens up. I would have to see how it goes, to be honest with you.
Do you know the funny thing about it? You talk about who would get in the window. Even if we brought a new manager in, the players we would still be targeting are Hosimoa and Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
So they're the same players. So it don't matter whether Mikel brings them in or Robbie brings them in.
But the guy managing them.
No, because
and that can make
the question was, would you trust him in the window?
I'm saying, would you give him the minute?
No, I think the question is...
Well, yeah, because the players would be the same, whoever's brought in. Wouldn't it be more disruptive now? If you go and get rid of him now, 2 weeks or so until the window actually opens, and then
I'm not saying to get rid of him now.
I think it's more detrimental to Arsenal now, with us being this close to the window, to try and bring another manager in, then say, right, now you've got to get your own players in, your own ideas, this, that.
No, but you know what,
Mikel's probably ready for the 1st of January to go and get new signings in from the moment January opens, and we can get sorted out straight away. A new manager comes in now, over the next couple of weeks. We might not get no signings till the end of January.
So
No,
do you think he's done enough to be given that chance?
Of course
as
he
things
has.
stand now.
Yeah, he has still done enough.
I was going to say,
You've got to take everything into context, and we're in an unprecedented year that he's been the manager. It is unprecedented. No one's seen or been anything.
I'll tell you what's unprecedented, the worst start for 45 years.
Yeah, but I've just explained to you that there are other teams with bigger stature than us that were in the same situation a year ago. Manchester United, they were a bigger club than us, spent more money than us. Biggest club in England. 15th? And they were 15th.
I don't think that's a like-for-like comparison.
Well, no, it is like-for-like because they had the exact same points and the exact same position.
So how do you feel about some of the issues that we've raised, myself and Curtis?
Some of the issues, some of the issues I don't agree with.
The style of play. Because
you've sat there and you spoke about the Partey situation. Again, that is all you've done, because we had this conversation off camera, is that you've seen a title, you've read a title, and you've taken that because what
That's
actually
a bit condescending.
No, it's not condescending because that was because you said to me, I've seen what was said. Like, you read what was said, and I explained to you exactly what was said. It was the media that pushed this big narrative of Thomas Partey's out of order for what he did, and he walked off the pitch, and this, that, the other. They then asked that question to Mikel Arteta. Right? They made it an issue and something that Mikel had to answer. All Mikel did was turn around and say that he was injured, he came over, and then he didn't realise the severity of the situation that was unfolding behind him. He never did anything wrong. He was explaining because he was now being told to explain what the situation was. And he quite clearly said that Thomas didn't understand the severity.
Didn't understand the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, he didn't understand what it was.
So what I'm saying to you is, right, is that what you say may well be fair enough. However, the aesthetics of it, the perception of that is that he was throwing Partey under the bus. He'd also thrown Pepe under the bus a few weeks before.
No, he didn't.
I think he did.
When was that?
With regards to the sending off.
I don't think he did.
Yeah,
I think because for
unfair.
how many years? How many years?
No, I disagree with that.
How many years have we said we need a manager that doesn't take any of this rubbish from players?
How did he throw him under the bus?
100%. With Guendouzi, I like that ruthlessness. With Ozil, I like that ruthlessness. But Pepe, number one, it wasn't a headbutt, so everyone needs to stop that. The game's gone soft. That is no headbutt. And in reality,
in this
day and age, both should get a yellow. Remember in the Manchester United game 2 weeks after that game, who was it? Fred. They both got a yellow. That's the right decision. That's number one.
That's fine.
But then Arteta comes out and says, Pepe, when Pepe let the team down. You can't say that about a man. That's what he said.
No, but I think he was right. He let the team down.
But the team wasn't playing well up until 50th minute
last week against Tottenham, where was Pepe? He's suspended. Yeah. He let the team down, right? It don't matter this is not a headbutt, yeah? Every single person in football, every single person who watches football knows that when you lean your head to a player, you're going to get sent off. It's not a matter of, to me, like somebody said, he may as well have whacked him one and really hit him, because as soon as you do that, it's the dumbest thing to do in football. He done that. The second half had just kicked off. He did that. He let the team down. Robbie, he let the fans down.
I am not for 1 minute defending Pepe's action.
Arteta never did nothing wrong in my eyes.
The issue I have is the way that was handled by the manager. He showed his. I'll tell you why. Because by you referencing Pepe in that way, immediately you saw the abuse that Pepe got. Some of it was racial as well, and I was not surprised about it.
That's got nothing to do with
Hang on, let me finish. I'll explain why I think it did make a difference. Because when you've got the manager on air publicly saying you let the team down like that, immediately, you know what fans are like. They're very emotional, they're reactionary, and they're very impulsive. So they go on Twitter and they start going.
You know what? You contradict yourself.
Can I just finish? I'm saying, as a manager, you have a duty of care to your players. Yes, you are absolutely right, and you, DT, he was bang out of order. But you know what good managers do? You wait till you get in the dressing room. Then you tell
let me ask you this, right?
Then you do it. You don't do it in public.
Let me ask you this, because I know that both you and Curtis, right, and Mourinho lovers wanted Mourinho to come in as the manager. You just said that.
Oh, you mean top of the league, Mourinho?
Wait a minute. What you just said is he does that all the time. He calls out players. Even did it the other day when they had the game in the Europa League. He called out all the players and he goes, these players.
Collective is different.
He's called out Dele Alli. He's called out Dele Alli. He's called out individuals. That's the thing he's known for.
You know the
throughout
difference.
And you wanted him, right? So how's that different?
That's the thing, because if
let the team down. Why
if Jose Mourinho,
why you got to hide that for? Why you got to hide that?
I agree, because if Jose Mourinho was our manager and Pepe did what he did, he would have come out and said the exact same thing as Mikel Arteta.
He may well have done.
But that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying it's the wrong thing to do.
No, man. And he made that.
It's a difference of opinion. I believe that for once, after so many years of seeing players protected constantly, it's nice to see a player actually pulled out. And do you know what? Did it do anything to Pepe? Yeah, it did, because what did he do in his next game?
But you don't know what he's done to the atmosphere in the dressing room.
I do want to, like, obviously it's not a Pepe episode.
But
I do want to make a comment on it.
And sorry, the other thing is I was just quoted that as an example of where I see, personally, areas of mismanagement. I mean, we can, even the comments about the strikers this week, which was like a subliminal diss of Aubameyang, which led to his agent to produce something on Twitter to say he's not getting chances created.
You said this earlier. Who's Aubameyang's agent?
Who's Curtis? You need to help me out on this.
It was online, wasn't it?
I don't to see some random guy called him his agent.
There was a diagram.
An agent. His family.
Okay, right. Well, someone within the Aubameyang camp.
Yeah.
I'm going to message him.
Trust me, I will find it for you in church.
Where did you come prepared?
Saying that the chances are not being created by the team.
Yeah, well, that's the argument of Ozil. That's why everyone's trying to bring back Ozil's name.
If you win collectively, you lose collectively. Stop airing people out.
You know what it is? It's not... The reason I wanted to move on is because this is not that big of a deal in terms of what's happening at the football club. We do want a bit more ruthlessness, you're right, and maybe it could have been put better. You are right too.
And that was just one of a number of examples.
These little arguments within the fan base at times take over, you know? And I think these little arguments have caused us to not see the bigger picture over the many years we've been in trouble. This is not the first year, second year, or third year we're in trouble. We've been in trouble for 10 years.
But the bigger picture is, if I may say, do you guys honestly believe in your heart of hearts that this is the man to turn around the form? And I don't mean in the short term, I'm talking long term.
I do.
You do. And I must say, I'm having severe doubts.
I'm unsure. Right, if I'm going to be honest, right, I'm unsure.
Have you seen enough to make you feel?
I've not, no.
Okay.
Right,
so that means you know this.
So I'm unsure. No, I'm unsure. Right, but I'm also like, you got to give him more time. I think it's too early to judge. I think he's got to get till Christmas. But I'm a realist. If he lost like every game till Christmas, you can't give him. I look on it and say, what happens normally in a January is you're giving the manager funds to spend, to put, you know, push the team on a bit. You know you can't do all of it in January, but you can't give someone who's like lost more games than he's won, right? Because we've already lost 6 games, we've won 4. So if he was to lose another, say 2-3 up till Christmas, I can't see how you can give that manager money. You got to bring someone else. But what I would say is, I'm unsure at the moment. I want to see him get more time. I would really, ideally, I would like to see him get till the end of the season, so that clear out, the same thing you were saying, Turkish, right? That there's so many men that need to go, but they're not leaving because they're on big money. Why would you? Why would you, if you're Socrates, you're getting nearly 100 grand a week, why would you leave? Why would you if you're Mustafi? No one's going to pay Mustafi 100 grand a week. You'd be lucky to get 30 grand. You know, he's not going to leave Arsenal for 30 grand. He's going to stay till his contract's over. And I think that extension thing they were trying to give him was only a way of raising so they can get a little fee for him, right? Because all these guys are going to walk away for nothing. But once they're all gone, then we will get to see Mikel Arteta's team, the players he wants. However, he has to get to that.
So we can't talk about Mustafi.
This is not sustainable as Arsenal Football Club. It's not sustainable.
Do you know one thing I just wanted to say, and I'm not calling you out. At the start of the season, DT, in an interview with Robbie, you said you felt we were good enough to get top 4. So that indicates at that time you felt this squad and this manager was good enough to get in the top 4. So if you felt we could get in the top 4, and now we're 15th, how can the manager not be getting blamed for a huge part of that? Because at the end of the day, it's easier to change one manager than 8-9 players.
Not when the 8-9 players that you're talking about are being part of a failure for so many years. It's not like he's gone and brought in a whole host of players and then we've gone, right, he's brought in these players, didn't work, go get another lot. He's playing with more than half of his team from somebody else. You've got to give him you know, his tools. Because at the moment he's using somebody else's and he's trying to piece things together. And he's not, you know, faultless for certain decisions and things that have happened at the club. No manager's perfect, but he needs that time now. Yeah, okay, if things go drastically wrong through December and
Is
stuff.
it not drastic already though?
You say that, but it's still salvageable. It's not, because this is the funny thing, and I try saying it and people will laugh and everything else, but the reality is that despite the horrific start to the season and whatever year it is that we haven't been this poor for, we're still about 7-8 points behind the top 6. We should.
Top 6. That's
6
not.
and 8
No. But what I'm saying is when you
That's
look.
not great though. The top 6.
No, but Robbie, when you put it into context where we are and how our season has gone, we should realistically be 15, 20 points behind the top 6.
I think we're only about
Not
5
after 11
of
games.
the bottom, something like 5 of the bottom
Listen,
3.
I'm not worried about.
Exactly.
We're not going to be going that way, okay? And I'll put my name to that. But what I'm saying is that, as last season showed as well with Manchester United, if you want to use teams as an example, you can get out of this situation. A manager can. And I don't think that Solskjaer is anywhere near the manager that Mikel Arteta is. In my opinion,
I'd say they're similar.
no way. Ollie's been.
Ollie finished third.
I
don't see what.
Ollie ain't won a trophy though.
That's like the year that Arsene Wenger finished.
Trophy's not always
second.
bigger than top
Do you know
4.
what I
I
mean?
don't.
You know that year we finished second behind Leicester.
Yeah.
Did you celebrate that? Like, oh,
No,
Wenger
not at
finished
all.
second.
I would never
because
finish.
because you
celebrate
can't.
that.
Because there was no real context to that. It was like when Manchester United finished second under Jose Mourinho, and they're all raving about
by
it.
default.
It's not. It was nothing to. The only team that could ever finish second in the Premier League and warrant going, that is bad luck, was Liverpool a couple of years ago.
When they pushed them to
you
the
know what I mean?
wire,
Not where you get lucky and fall there.
What my point was, I think at this moment it's easier to win an FA Cup than it is to finish top 4.
Well, why hasn't anyone else done it?
Arsenal.
Why has no one else done it?
Well, you've seen Wigan win the FA Cup, Portsmouth, Conte and Van Gaal won it and got sacked. Do you know what I mean?
Wigan won
again,
the FA Cup.
Wigan,
We got
yeah.
relegated
Do you know
in the
what I mean?
same season.
But again, the issue that you're saying here, if it's so easy, look at what
I'm not saying it's so easy, but
Mikel
easier
came
than
in
top 4.
at what he did. The bounce was finished the moment that COVID just took over anyway, because there was no bounce. They were all working from home. And then he came back. We had a dreadful start in the first 2 games. And I remember those first 2 games. And after losing to Brighton, I was fuming after Brighton. We've all seen the watch-alongs and stuff. And people were starting to go then like, oh, here we go. Yeah, all right, cool. And then you were getting your first doubts of Mikel then. And he was able to turn it round. And I will trust him to turn it round, because what he achieved in winning that trophy was not a small thing. It wasn't. You only have to look, right? You take away, obviously, because the earlier rounds were nothing to, like before COVID and stuff, but we beat Leeds United. All right, that was tough enough as it is. The only real game in there where you can go, yeah, that's a gimme, was Portsmouth. We had to go to Sheffield United and win away. We did. We had to beat Manchester City. We did. And then we had to beat Chelsea. And we did. So I've seen Mikel beat and tactically outbeat some of the best managers in the Premier League.
All in the cups though as well.
But you say, but not just
and
that.
we're talking about the league
but
more.
then, yeah, but we beat Liverpool in the league last season as well. And then you say, and people will go, oh, but Liverpool made 2 mistakes. But it was our style of play that forced Liverpool into those errors.
If Liverpool hadn't won that title, do you think we'd have won that game?
But you can't. But again, it's this spots and maybes. It's like when there's fine margins, right? And people will talk about Spurs at the top at the moment, and I say that there's fine margins because, and this is where everything's falling into their favour at the moment. Like COVID actually worked perfectly for Spurs.
Yeah, their injured players came back.
Son and Kane were injured, going to be out for the rest of the season. COVID comes in, wipes out 3 months, and then they start again and they're back. Then you go into this season. I've watched some of their games. They get the luck with Burnley, they don't play well, but then they go and get that one chance, they score. You get Manchester City, their backs are against the wall, they're 1-0 up, Man City equalise, but VAR overrules it. There's decisions that go their way. With us, no, but listen, wait, you ain't let me finish.
They beat Man United 6-1.
Can you let me finish?
They've beaten us.
And again,
they've beaten City. No. Listen,
and even in that one, they had a player sent off. What I'm saying is about fine margins is that we go to Anfield.
We're not near them at the moment.
Will you wait a minute? We're 2-1 down to Liverpool at Anfield. Lacazette goes through. You score that. You don't walk away from there with a defeat. You get a draw at a minimum, possibly. But that's that. Aston Villa, we're playing poorly. 1-0 down. Get one opportunity. Lacazette heads it over the bar.
But that doesn't mean we'll win them games, does it?
No, but this is what I'm
chances.
saying to you. It's fine margins. Nothing's falling for us at the moment. Everything just seems to be going against us.
I'd say where I a little bit disagree with that. I look at, like, it pains me to say Tottenham are ahead of us at the moment. They've beaten those teams. They've beaten City. They've beaten Man United, fresh Man United, and they've beaten us, right? You know, they're ahead of us. And as I said, I'm not saying nothing about Mikel Arteta being out or nothing, but I'm worried by certain things. I don't know what the style of play is at the moment. At the start of the season, I see us pressing. I was like, yeah, I like this. Last few games, I ain't seen none of where's the pressing gone? Where's the, you know, as I said the other day, we went Tottenham. Why are we going and attacking? We've seen what City did. City have got a way better attack than us. They attacked. These guys did the same to City. They just broke away a couple of times, bang, bang, shut it down, won the game. Why did he go there with that tactic? I'm like, there's some strange decisions. And I know it's almost like I don't know. And at home, our record is absolutely shocking. And we don't seem to have a style of play at home.
No.
I know Turkish sort of shut me down when I said it about the Ozil thing, right? And I'm not saying that Ozil is the answer to our problems, but I'm just saying that it's another decision that he's made that's not gone right. You know what I mean? These decisions are fine. Nobody will be talking about Ozil if we're in the top 4 right now and we're doing well.
Well, like no one talked about when we won FA Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now, and even when we won the FA Cup, he was still in the squad, wasn't he? He was still available if he wanted to pick him, right? But now you've removed that guy, he's not available. Then the other one that baffles me is the Saliba thing. It's not been explained right to me as a fan. I don't understand this, I didn't know Arsenal was this club that could afford to have a 350 grand a week guy not in the squad, and then to have buy a player for 27 million pounds and not even playing for 2 years. When since did we have all this money? If we can afford to do that, then we should be going out and buying players for 100 million plus. Because I never knew that we had the capacity to be able to do those things. And both decisions to me, I don't know the ins and outs of Saliba, so it's hard to say, but it seems to backfire. The Ozil one's backfired for me. You cannot, no matter how much you don't rate him, say that he would not create more than what I am seeing at the moment, especially at home.
But last season, Rob, he played 18 games and he wasn't part of 20 games. In those games, the chances created in the game was 1.6, both identical. It's just that when Ozil plays...
What are we creating now?
But now is different. Now, obviously, we can't look back and easily forget Ozil's performance in the Europa League final.
I know that, but does that mean bomb him out of the whole squad?
Yes.
That he's not available?
Yes.
Because Robbie, there's things going on behind the scenes.
Now we could look at trying something different. We could have, you know, throw him in for a couple of games. It don't work. Then you say, yeah, well, see, look, I tried him. It don't work. Think now we ain't even. These guys not even in the squad.
Robbie, I back him more than anyone, and even I know that there's problems going on behind the scenes, and it's not just Mikel Arteta. Freddie Ljungberg said that there was an issue. Unai Emery has said there's an issue. So at what point do you look at the individual, like I was trying to explain earlier?
Maybe they were the issue.
What? So 3 managers are the issue. And
I don't know. Well, none of them are here. The other
Laurie, what do you want? I think we should take Ozil out of the equation for the moment and concentrate on the present time. Now, the issue I've got with Arteta is that if we look at our form, trust me, I don't think a lot of people, I mean, no disrespect to DT, but you're talking a lot of hypotheticals. If Laka had done that, if Aubameyang had done that. The fact is, we're 15th in the table at the moment. We scored just 9 goals in our 11 league games. It's the worst start for 33 years, sorry. Failed to score in 5 of our last 6 Premier League games. Scored just 1 in the last 6 Premier League games. And I'm saying that these are facts that we really need to look hard at and say, listen, the trajectory of the club right now is solidly downwards, and we really need to be thinking that this is serious. I think we're falling into that trap that, yeah, we're Arsenal, at some point we're going to recover and we're going to start shooting up to table towards the 4th place. And I'm saying we're in bigger trouble than we might want to realise, you know what I mean? And I'm saying, given those facts, again, is this the man that's going to turn things around? I'm not talking about a few wins and a draw in the short term. I'm talking about looking at this guy's attributes, or lack thereof, Do you think he's going to be able to propel us up the table and keep us there? Because we all want, at the end of the day, to be playing at Champions League football and winning trophies, or at least challenge for that. At the moment, I don't see that. I do not see it.
I have to round up the show now, but all them statistics, they are facts.
Right.
Big facts.
But another big fact, another big fact is all of those statistics were coming from many years ago. This was not Arteta. It's not linked to Arteta. It's not linked to Emery. These are linked to Stan Kroenke leaving Wenger and Gazidis in charge for too long. So as much as them stats are facts, I don't believe it's fair to use them against the man.
But it shouldn't be now. Even with the Kroenke thing, yeah. We shouldn't be doing as badly as this.
No chance.
Sorry, this we should not be doing as badly. This is not. We shouldn't be in 15th. We've got Aubameyang, Lacazette, Gabriel, Partey. You know what I mean? We should not be in 15th place.
Could I just ask DT a question, just quickly? Right, and I don't want to turn this into a personal thing.
This is the last question. Last question. DT, round it up.
Forget about the Mourinho hatred and stuff like that and all. We had said, myself and Curtis, and we took a lot of stick for it, but we stand by what we said. I said, Curtis was outright, he wants Mourinho. I said, I'll take Mourinho. And I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to ask Robbie and yourself. Do you think if a manager of Mourinho's stature had been given a job, we'd be languishing in this position we are now? Be honest.
You can't
Take away your hate for the man.
You can't say never, because he put Chelsea in this position as well.
What, 15th and no wins in 6?
Near enough after winning the title.
I think Mourinho. I think possibly, yeah. I think if you haven't got the tools, if Mourinho didn't have the tools, we've seen Mourinho's clubs in trouble before. We saw Man United in a bit of turmoil.
He won the Europa Cup.
And if you're worrying about Mikel Arteta calling out players, Jesus.
Yeah, remember him calling out Pogba. You forgot that, yeah?
Yeah, he calls out people, but he's also saying,
I reckon Mourinho would have been calling out AFTV by now as well.
Unless he might
come on in, you never know.
He probably would have.
Could you imagine that? Sat there in the corner, innit?
Yeah.
Mourinho, by the way, at Tottenham ain't won nothing yet, right? And that's the one thing that
he's been in charge for what, a year, and they're now top of the table.
The same as Arteta.
Yeah.
And they're top of the table, and they beat us comfortably last week. Let's not have any of this.
Top of the table.
We had 11 attempts on goal.
Remember, Jose Mourinho was still in this same FA Cup competition as Mikel Arteta, and he went out to Norwich.
Yeah, Mourinho hasn't won anything, right? If you the one thing where I look on it,
I know who I would trust.
I look on it and I still I give this credit in the bank for me for Arteta, because it wasn't just the fact that he won the FA Cups, the teams he beat, that overcome to win that FA Cup, right? And at the time, nobody gave us a prayer, right? And he
got a lot of credit for that.
In both of those, and that's why he's got credit with me. But obviously, this is not sustainable at the moment. I want to give him a longer time to see if he can turn it around. But Mourinho ain't won nothing yet. You win it in May. You don't win it in December.
Is he a better manager than Arteta?
Of course, he's. No, wait a minute. Of course, as a manager, Mourinho, his record speaks for himself. And at this moment in time, he's doing better than Arteta. Last season, you know, if you looked at it towards the end of last season, Arteta was doing better than him. But the difference is, at the moment, Mourinho has better players to work with than what Arteta has.
So what
that
would you
is
say?
more his team. He's had a season. He's been able to. They ain't had the big problems with clearing out players like what we have, right? So he has a better, more established squad. He inherited a team that just got to the Champions League final.
No, when he took over, the club was in turmoil.
He just inherited a team that got to the Champions League.
I think if you look back, Robbie, when he took over, that club was in turmoil.
The team he inherited just got to the Champions League final, yeah? The team...
And added Ndombele.
And then their trajectory went down.
And
then their trajectory went down.
Yeah, no, the trajectory went down because it went a bit...
Pochettino got sacked, Mourinho come in, and his trajectory went up.
No, I'm talking about the team he inherited, the tools.
They was already better than us. They was already better than us.
I think we do have good players.
It's very difficult to...
I don't think so, Laurie.
I think we have...
Okay, let's quickly do it.
Better players than Spurs.
No, I didn't say better players than Spurs.
Not at the moment.
I'm saying 15th with these players, to me, is a massive underachievement.
We know that, but he inherited a team that just got to the Champions League final.
Exactly.
It might have been things are going a bit sour under the, you know,
and finished top 4 3-4 years in a row.
Basically, the things went stale. things went stale under that manager, right?
And they were
that
14th
team,
when he
like
took
you said,
over.
continually always in the top 4, and they got to the Champions League final.
Yeah.
We ain't been nowhere near that for years.
And
We've
remember,
been, like
season,
Turkish said, we've been on that downward slope for a long time.
And last season, he still only got Tottenham into the Europa League. And it was because of Mikel Arteta and Arsenal that they had to qualify to even get in the Europa League after they celebrated on the final game of the season, forgetting that if we'd won the cup. So there's this whole, they are where they are at the moment. I'm pretty confident, and they're not winning the league. Trust me, not under him, nothing.
So final question, I just want a yes or no. Arteta January, do you give him the window? Laurie?
Yes.
Curtis?
No.
No. DT?
Yes, all day.
Do I give him the window? Do I give him the window?
I was about to say you're the sensible brother.
No, but the thing is, if he lost all the games from now till January, I wouldn't give him the window.
If we lost to Burnley, would you?
But if he gets a few run of games, you know, out of those 5 games, wins 3 of them, say, gets things stable, I'll give him the window.
Does the Carabao Cup not matter to you in that sense?
Not the Carabao, I'm talking about the league.
Yeah, so let's just think about league games.
If we lost to Burnley, would you get rid of him?
No, I'd still probably wait it out, because to me there'd still be time to wait. It would be a serious problem.
Yeah, I think
that would be losing to Burnley.
The problem's already here.
Burnley makes it very serious.
The serious problem's been here for 15 years. The serious problem is the board and the ownership. That's how I'm going to wrap this show up, because a lot of our fans are very positive. A lot of our fans are very negative. We haven't got enough in the middle. Yeah, we need to manage our expectations before the season starts and not get carried away. As much as we shouldn't be 15th, this squad does not deserve to be in the top 5. We've said that as well. So do I want to be 6th? I don't want to be 6th. So what am I actually calling for? A new manager to bring this squad 6th? That's not enough for me. We had enough of Arsene Wenger finishing 4th year on year. Our standards have even fallen further behind then. I know what this fan base will turn around and do. The first time we make top 4, happy days. The good times are back. No, it's not happy days. The good times are not back, because we had enough of that, but we've already forgotten about it. So that has been the show for today. Laurie, Curtis, thank you for coming on. Rob,
it's been a pleasure
as always. This has been the Supporters Club, people. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Instagram, Twitter, tag us. And yeah, tune in to the next show coming real soon.